Hello there and welcome to News in English with Tutor Tom for Friday the 15th of September 2023. Now, as it's a Friday and we're heading into the weekend, I've got quite a short article today and one that has a positive outcome to give you that good feel-good factor heading into the weekend. So what do we have today? We have the following article titled Greenland cruise ship pulled free after 3 days stuck in mud. So let's go through the article. A luxury cruise ship that has been stuck in the mud in Greenland since Monday has finally been pulled free. The Ocean Explorer and its 206 passengers and crew were rescued on Thursday by a Greenland research trawler after it was grounded within the northeast Greenland National Park. The boat's owner, Sunstone, said there were no injuries to anyone on board. However, tour operator Aurora Expeditions said a small number of people had come down with COVID-19. The Ocean Explorer became stuck in mud and silt above the Arctic Circle in Alpefjord, 1,400 kilometers northeast of Greenland's capital, Nuuk. A number of attempts were made to free the ship during high tide, but they failed. The Danish military's Joint Arctic Command said an inspection vessel had been due to arrive at the scene on Friday. The ship was eventually dislodged based on a pull from a Greenland government-owned trawler called Tarajok, which means salt in Greenlandic, as well as Ocean Explorer's own power. Sunstone said the vessel and its passengers will now be positioned to a port where the vessel's bottom damages can be assessed and the passengers will be taken to a port from which they can be flown back home. There had been no pollution to the environment and no breach of the hull, it added. The 112 passengers and 94 crew on the Australian tour operator's cruise had set off from Norway on the 2nd of September and were due to return on the 22nd of September. Many of the passengers were from Australia, as well as New Zealand, the UK, South Korea and the US. Stephen Fraser and Gina Hill, a retired couple on board the Ocean Explorer, said passengers' spirits were high despite being stranded. Mr. Fraser, who caught COVID during the trip, told the Sydney Morning Herald, "It's a little bit frustrating, but we are in a beautiful part of the world. We're sitting right near the glacier where we open our window." Aurora Expeditions said earlier this week that 3 people had contracted the virus but were being kept in isolation. The northeast Greenland National Park is nearly the same size as France and Spain combined and is famed for its fjords, icebergs and mountains. It is also home to wildlife such as polar bears, musk oxen, and the elusive narwhal. Okay, so really interesting article there. Good to see that there's a happy ending despite the boat being stuck in the mud. Nobody other than catching COVID-19 were hurt in any way, and the passengers will no doubt be home very soon. So let's have a look at some of the words that I liked in this article that you can add to your vocabulary. So the first one is dislodged. Dislodged is the past tense of the word dislodge, and that means to knock or force out of position. For example, the hoofs of their horses dislodged loose stones. The boat was dislodged from the mud. That's the word dislodged. Spirits or high spirits. What does the phrase high spirits mean? It means lively and cheerful behavior or mood. For example, the team returned in high spirits. That's the word or the phrase high spirits. A good one to use in your conversation to say that, for example, our family was in high spirits because we received some good news. So it's a really good phrase to use in your English conversations. Frustrating. Causing annoyance or upset because of an inability to change or achieve something. For example, it can be very frustrating to find that the size you want isn't there. That's the word frustrating. Glacier. Glacier. That is a slowly moving mass or river of ice formed by the accumulation and compaction of snow on mountains or near the poles, such as the North Pole. That's the word glacier. And then finally, we have the word contracted. Contracted, and this can have a number of different meanings. It's a very versatile word. It could mean to decrease in size, number, or range. So, for example, a glass contracts as it cools. Secondly, it could be used in the form of entering into a formal or legally binding agreement. For example, the local authority will contract with a wide range of agencies to provide services. But the context that it was used in this particular article was number 3, to catch or develop. So, for example, 3 people contracted a killer virus. Some of the passengers on the boat contracted COVID-19. So that's the word contracted. Very nice word and a very versatile word as well. So I leave you with those to practice over the next few days, but I wish you well for the weekend. Have fun, relax, enjoy yourself, and I will pick up with you again on Monday. All the very best.